Before the roar, before the crowds, there is only a whisper, a private thought, a spark of unbearable conviction. It begins with an itch, a gnawing injustice that demands more than silent observation, it demands action. But the cost is not measured in dollars, but in the slow, agonizing erosion of the self. The first sacrifice is peace, your personal peace. It vanishes the moment you decide to lead. Your thoughts are no longer your own. They become a public trust, a battleground for the cause. Sleep becomes a luxury, a fleeting escape from the crushing weight of expectation and responsibility. Every word, every gesture is amplified, scrutinized, weaponized. Your humanity becomes a liability. The mirror reflects not you, but the movement's avatar, a symbol carved from your very being. Friends fade. Family ties strain under the immense pressure, the constant danger. Love, if it survives, is reshaped into something brittle, constantly tested, forever secondary. Your body becomes a weapon, then a shield, then simply a vessel for relentless action. The initial idealism burns hot, fueling the first steps, the defiant pronouncements. Each small victory is paid for in blood, sweat, and the currency of diminishing hope. You learn to compartmentalize the pain, to lock away the fear, to suppress the doubt. The path forward is rarely clear, often treacherous, always fraught with betrayal. Opponents aren't just faces, they are forces, relentless in their desire to crush you. The loneliness of leadership is a cold, sharp blade, cutting deeper with every decision. You become a martyr in waiting, a lightning rod for all the world's fury. The cause becomes a parasite, feeding on your reserves, demanding more than you have. Your identity blurs, then dissolves. Are you a person, or just the movement's mouthpiece? The initial exhilaration gives way to a grim determination, a sheer, bloody-minded refusal to quit. Every moment spent building the movement is a moment stolen from your own fragile life. The weight of representing something bigger than yourself becomes a physical ache, a constant pressure. You become adept at deception, learning to mask exhaustion, to feign strength you don't possess. The enemies multiply, not just external, but internal. Doubt, paranoia, the whisper of failure. Your past is dredged up, twisted, used as ammunition. There is no sanctuary, no escape. The media's gaze is a searing laser, dissecting your flaws, fabricating narratives. You lose the luxury of mistakes. Every misstep is magnified, every weakness exploited. The movement consumes resources, time, energy, but most of all, it consumes you. There are no ordinary days, only crisis management, strategic planning, endless battles. Your body aches, your mind races, your spirit withers under the relentless onslaught. The movement grows, attracting a diverse, often volatile, group of followers. Each new voice is a potential asset and a potential liability. Internal factions form, challenging your authority, questioning your vision. Betrayal is not a risk, it's an inevitability, a wound you learn to bear. The vision that once consumed you now risks consuming itself, turning toxic. You become a strategist, a tactician, a ruthless decision-maker, even against your nature. The fight for the movement becomes the fight for survival, yours and theirs. Your personal triumphs are forgotten. Only the movement's victories matter. The burden of hope placed upon your shoulders is heavier than any physical weight. There's a point of no return. A moment when stepping back means abandoning everything. Your body becomes an automaton, operating on sheer will, fueled by an internal fire. You master the art of masking the pain, of projecting an impenetrable strength. The movement develops a life of its own, a monstrous entity, sometimes beyond your control. Success is a fleeting illusion, followed quickly by new challenges, new threats. The roar of the crowd is intoxicating, but it cannot silence the internal screams. You become a figurehead, less a person, more a banner under which others march. Your past self, the person who started all this, is a ghost you can barely remember. The sacrifices compound. Every win feels like a net loss for your soul. You're constantly walking a tightrope between inspiring hope and managing despair. The sheer mental fortitude required is unimaginable to those who haven't borne it. You become a living monument to your own cause, encased in stone, unable to move freely. The movement's needs always supersede yours. Your life is no longer your priority. The constant threat of failure, of letting everyone down, is a heavier burden than death itself. You learn to live with ghosts, the ideals lost, the people hurt, the opportunities missed. The applause rings hollow when your soul is a battlefield, echoing with unseen wounds. You question everything, the cause, your methods, your very sanity. There's a constant negotiation with your own moral compass, stretched to its limits. The weight of the movement often crushes the very thing it sought to uplift. Your personal narrative is rewritten by the public, becoming part of the myth, not the man. The exhaustion becomes a permanent state, a deep-seated weariness no rest can cure. You become a strategist in a war that never ends, only shifts its battlegrounds. The cost of building a movement is the price of burning yourself alive for a flicker of light. You are a vessel, a conduit. Your purpose is to serve, to facilitate, to endure. The moments of triumph are fleeting, overshadowed by the ever-present shadow of unfinished work. You sacrifice your anonymity, your privacy, your right to be ordinary. The movement becomes your progeny, demanding constant nurture, tireless defense. Your legacy is forged in suffering, carved from the very marrow of your bones. The path to change is paved with the shattered pieces of human lives. And yours is just one, stretched thin, worn to a thread, almost invisible. You glimpse freedom, only to realize the chains are now internal, self-imposed. The movement's success is your prison, its failure your damnation. The hunger for change is insatiable, always demanding more from its architects. Every step forward is bought with blood, sweat, and the currency of diminishing hope. The cheers fade, the banners crumble, only the scars remain. You are a living echo, a testament to a struggle that outlives your own existence. The ultimate price is not death, but the death of who you were, irrecoverably altered. The cause becomes a force, a current that sweeps you along, whether you want it or not. Your narrative is no longer your own. It belongs to the movement, to history. The weight of a generation's hope becomes a crown of thorns, digging deeper with every step. You are forever bound to the struggle, even when your body screams for release. The quiet moments are stolen, fleeting, filled with the ghosts of what might have been. You become a martyr, not by death, but by the slow, deliberate extinguishing of your soul. The world remembers the cause, rarely the individual, swallowed by its own creation. The price of a movement is the leader's very essence, refined to dust in the crucible of change. You are a shepherd to millions, but utterly alone in your waking nightmares. The burden becomes your identity, an inseparable part of your shattered being. You carry the weight of countless futures, each one a precious, fragile gamble. The vision you fought for slowly detaches from you, taking on a life of its own. You exist in a state of perpetual emergency, your nerves frayed, your soul tattered. The victory is never yours alone, the defeat always intimately, brutally personal. You are reduced to a function, a cog in the machine you so painstakingly built. The promise of a better future demands the sacrifice of your own present. You are the fuel, consumed to ignite the collective fire. The quiet moments, once cherished, become unbearable in their emptiness. Your personal narrative is swallowed by the grander epic, your voice lost in the chorus. The ultimate cost is an existence defined by absence. Absence of self, absence of peace. You are forever the architect, bound to the blueprints of a future you may never truly inhabit. The movement becomes your only home, your only family, your only reason for being. It becomes your entire universe, and you, its fading central star. The cost of building a movement is the self, painstakingly dismantled, piece by agonizing piece. Every victory is a step further away from who you were, into a role you cannot escape. The applause, the cheers, the recognition, it's for the symbol, not the suffering human. You stand as a lighthouse, guiding others, while your own light steadily dims. The price of galvanizing change is the forfeiture of your private self, forever. You built a bridge to a better world, but you can never cross it yourself. Your reflection is now the collective, a million faces staring back, none your own. The movement demanded everything, and you, in your fervent conviction, gave it all. You became the crucible, the sacrifice, the very cost of progress. The cheers will fade, the histories will be written, but your quiet agony remains, unseen. The price of building a movement isn't just loss, it's oblivion, even in triumph.